Hey folks, man, my hair's messed up. I gotta go to work, like in whatever, 25 minutes. I just wish that I can just, I wish I can just, maybe just retire. I don't know. I was watching, I feel like I always seem to always give a quick shout out to my good friend Calicosilver, Jeff. Because, he's not like he's the only one out there, I know more people out there than what I know, who I know out, to who I subscribe with on YouTube. And I was watching his video called Favorite Stone Songs per Album. Now, I did a Dylan video. I think it was, I think I chose two favorite songs from his 60s albums. And, I'm trying to get into his albums a little bit more so that way I can try to get a full, so I can get a tackle on his full, discography or whatever. But, anyways, this will be great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from their first album. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, hold on. I got to drink first here. I'm going to do, now with their early albums up until their Santanic or whatever, I'm going to do the US albums, the North American albums from the Stones. And just go from there all the way to their last album, Blue and Lonesome. So, so without further ado, folks, let's go ahead and get into this here. And this is fun. This is not meant to, it doesn't take time here to do this, if you will, But whatever, I'm talking a little bit too much here. So let's go ahead now. This is, of course, the front cover for the, the first album in the United Kingdom. But you just gotta take it for what it is, and you just gotta picture the England's newest hitmakers. If this was the North American album, and I think I choose. Sorry, folks. It's the guinea pigs. They're loud. But anyways, I'm probably going to have to choose the intro, the first track, "Not Fade Away." I really, oh man, I really love almost all that stuff from the first album. Like, I just want to make love to you. Yeah, that one's good. I like that one. And then we get their second one in the United States called 12 by 5. And I'm probably going to have to choose, trying to think which one I really, really like. Maybe Time Is On My Side. I really love that song, of course. It's beautiful. I think that's the one with the, not the organ intro, right? Is it, it's like the guitar, it's like the very slow guitar that comes in, right? But anywho's. So my next one here is their third album here in the United States called Now. Now that I just thought of it right now, I was listening to just yesterday the Rolling Stones Now, and I don't know, when I did my review of this album, it was very short because I think I was covering the UK albums. So I was kind of thinking in my mind, maybe I should revisit Now and maybe kind of make it, maybe not a full review, but maybe like a re-review that'll kind of be a little bit more, not so much, crammed in all at once or whatever. So I would definitely love to do another kind of redo of Rolling Stones Now. And the one I probably choose on here, there are definitely a lot of great ones. Down the Road a piece. But I'm going to go with the song you chose, Jeff, on the album, Down Home Girl. The Jerry Lieber song. I like that one, the Turnip Greens, you know what I mean? Yeah, so we get the next album here. And this one's always been one, this is actually kind of one of my, out of the, it's still part of that early Stones, but getting kind of there with, not quite. Um, yeah, they're starting to find their footing, I guess, into the pop, if you will, the whole pop, you know, thing or whatever. And it's Out of Our Heads, which is the fourth album. And I probably get to choose. Now, I know I can easily just choose Satisfaction, and that they'll be said and done. But I very much love The Last Time. I'm probably going to have to choose that one. I just like it with that solo. Not only the solo, but the intro, which I think was done by Brian Jones, right? Or Keith, I believe. Yeah, what a great song. That came before Can't Get No Satisfaction. And this one here, December's Children Everybody's. I think this one, now pretty soon I'm going to be doing the ranking here, so this will kind of be a little pre-thing here before I do that. This is kind of I always kind of thought to myself that this was always kind of like the weakest of their early albums or whatever, or at least their, you know what I mean, where, you got to decide which one, But I'm going to have to choose Get Off My Cloud. Oh yeah, such a classic Stones song, right? And the next one we have here is Aftermath, right? When they're writing their own compositions. A little bit psychedelia, with the first track, Painted Black, of course, Lady Jane, Under My Thumb. Just great stuff. I could have chose the whole damn album. Because there's just a great amount of songs I very much love. And of course, you get that still into that early Stones, the R&B and soul and, whatever blues. I'm going to have to choose good old Painted Black. Oh, yeah. It's always been one of my favorites, definitely for sure. Then we get the next one here, Between the Buttons. This is, 67. Now, apparently the back here, let me point that out here, that these two Rolling Stones things or whatever, you see the round logos or whatever, the North American cover has those two on each side of the corner of the album on the bottom here. But now, of course, I kind of maybe prefer the now some people can be a little bit different in places when it comes to choosing the Aftermath UK or the Aftermath United States, or the Between the Buttons UK, or vice versa. But I choose Ruby Tuesday, the United States. Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday, or let's spend the night together. Cool, Calm, Collected. I could have chosen that song too. No, whatever. Now this album, most people will obviously probably get me for sure, but we all know that this is a compilation, right? But I'm gonna choose a song here off the compilation. I could have chose the same thing, Ruby Tuesday, but I gotta be different here. I gotta choose something different, and I'm probably going to go with maybe Mother's Little Helper. I always like that song. Always do. Always. Has a bit of a. Always seems to be one of their heavier songs. Not with their instruments, but just the lyrical, just the story. Has a bit of a dark twist to it or whatever. Now the next one here is their Satanic Man. Now that's an album. That's sort of a. That's kind of a, I never liked the album name for some reason, That's just the Stones for you. But my favorite song has always been She's a Rainbow. I always like that one. Great stuff on there. I love 2,000 Light Years Away from Home, Citadel, The Lantern. Just great stuff on that album. Somewhat. Except for the opening track and the closing track, The Show Must Go On, or whatever the show, something like that. Ooh, now we're getting to that Miller period, right? That late 60s, early 70s, This is an absolute masterpiece, Beggar's Banquet, and I'm probably going to have to choose. Oh, man, so much great stuff, man. I am telling you right now. That's an absolutely perfectious album with every single song just well written. I'm gonna have to go with, it's so hard, but I'm probably gonna either choose Jigsaw Puzzle or Parachute Woman. Oh my God, just two favorite ones. I think I'm probably gonna go with Jigsaw Puzzle. That's a one hell of a song. And you know what? Same thing for this album here. Let It Bleed. Oh man, I could have chosen just once again almost all the songs I could have literally had chosen right there and then. But I'm probably going to go with maybe Give Me Shelter. Either that or You Can't Always Get What You Want. But man, there's so much great stuff on there. But maybe Give Me Shelter. I know I hear the song, millions of times or whatever, but yeah, man, Give Me Shelter. Maybe that might be the song I choose. Now, some of you all are going to be very disappointed because I don't have any of the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. I don't have any of these albums with me. So what I'm going to do is, excuse me, I'm going to have to probably put the album cover up on the corner here, do the My Little Magic, I have the book, but, they're not in color. The pictures are so damn small now. So we all know after Let It Bleed is Sticky Fingers. Sticky Fingers. This is the beginning. This is this early 70s we're talking here. And I'm probably going to have to go with the opening track, Brown Sugar. But I love every single one of those songs off that album. Like Can You Hear Me Knockin' and Wild Horses, Sway. Just great stuff. Yeah, so then we get to the double album, which is absolutely one of my all-time favorite Stones album of all time, and that is Exile on Main Street. Just a perfectious album. And I could have chosen all those songs. Sweet Virginia, Rip This Joint, but I'm probably going to go with Happy. Now, isn't that weird? I'm choosing a Keith vocal song here. Well, technically Jagger Richards, but I'm choosing that song. And I like that. I always liked that song. It's a bit of a rocking. I really love Keith's vocals. I never really liked the live version. The live versions that they do a little bit later on or whatever. Yeah. I feel like Keith's vocals started to get a little bit raspy a little bit, but except for that, I think that tour they did like in probably around 72, 73, there's a great live performance of him doing that, but a little bit later on, we're talking like the 80s, maybe 90s, covering that song. Yeah, it's not really as good, but now the next one is the very last Miller album, and that is Goat's Head Soup, just a classic, brilliant, perfectious album, and I'm probably going to have to choose Winter. Yeah, Winter. Oh my God, just beautiful. Big Taylor. Great stuff. Now we get the Glimmer Twins here, the period here with them. And for It's Only Rock and Roll, I'm probably going to have to choose It's Only Rock and Roll. I don't really necessarily like that album. It's not one of my favorite albums, because it doesn't have that Miller, that Jimmy Miller, what I mean. It just seems that something's lost, something was, But my next one, the next album is Black and Blue, and that album's really good. I love that album, but I'm probably gonna have to choose Melody, right? Melody, or Memory Hotel, or whatever. Just great stuff. But I'm probably going to choose Melody. Mick and Billy. That was a great perfectious song by them. Then we get Some Girls, and now this is where they were changing up a bit. They're getting a little bit punk, a little bit, something sort of, they're getting a little bit dancey, somewhat, and probably within that album, probably going to choose Miss You. A big hit. Always love that song. Even though we hear it, even though I'm getting to the point now, I'm going to rip my hair and say, no, I don't want to listen to the song anymore, but it's still great. Absolutely wonderful. And then we get Emotional Rescue. Now, this is sort of the trilogy here of the albums. Sort of that sort of that punk and somewhat a little bit new wave inspired or whatever other albums here preceding. And Emotional Rescue, I think I think really during that time period, that's not one of my, I don't, it's kind of one of the weak, kind of really, really, it's kind of okay with some okay tracks, and some of it's like, whatever. But I love Down in the Hole. Yeah, that's Groover. It's just like an old classic Stone song, right? Down the Hole. I love that one. I could have chose Where the Boys All Go or whatever. It's not very great, but Then we get Tattoo You. Absolutely great with a collection of songs that you get from their recording, from their, days going back to Ghost at Soup. And my favorite one from Tattoo You is probably, has always been Hang Fire. Either that or Slave. Don't want to be your slave. Maybe I'm going to choose Slave. That's a really good one. Or Heaven. I love that one as well. Or was that from Emotional Rescue? I don't know if I remember. I think that was from Tattoo You, Heaven. Yeah, but I'm gonna probably choose Slave or whatever. Ooh, and then my next one. The next album here is Undercover. And that one's really good. That's kind of one of their underrated 80s albums to me. And for that one, I'm probably gonna have to choose Too Much Blood. I like that one. It's a bit of a different, it's a bit of a disco, dancey. It's just so different than what the Stones ever try to execute. You know what I mean? It's just wonderful. I love that song. And then my next one is Dirty Work. Now, a lot of people hate this album. This album and onwards are just kind of the least of the albums everybody, listens or whatever. But my favorite one from Dirty Work has to be Harlem Shuffle. I like that one. It's a bit different. It's a bit 80s, of course. This is when they're getting... I don't think the Stones, I don't think the Stones ever lashed to the 80s production, if you will. But I think this one, out of the 80s, has to be one of the most 80s, But yeah, Harlem Shuffle, man, with I forgot who wrote it originally. An old early 60s song, Then after that, we get Steel Wheels. This is sort of the return, if you will. And this is them kind of, but I very much like, what's that one song? It's very gypsy-like. I can't remember what the name of that song is. I do like Mixed Emotions. That one's pretty good. Hang On to Your Hat. Some of those songs. But what is that one with the desire? Damn, I'm trying to remember what that song was called, because I'm doing these on the fly here, so as I'm going along here in my whatever. Some with the desire. It's a bit of a gypsy. It's the second track off the album. I think it comes right after Mixed Emotions, I believe. Then we get Voodoo Lounge. Now this was the first Dawn was produced, right? It was before they got into like the four producers, right? Where the Robert Stromboli or whatever the heck his name was, Dust Brothers, But this one's kind of okay, I never really liked it that much, but I very much like Blinded by Rainbows. That one's always good. I always like Blinded by Rainbows. Always a good one. And then my next one here has to be one of my favorite of that 90s period by the Stones. I know they only had two albums in the 90s, but this one has to be my most favorited one. I think this one was when they brought in Don Was or whatever. But I think it has to be Might As Well Get Juiced. I love that. Oh my God. Great, great song. Oh my God. Or I could have chosen those two Keith ballads, or I could have chosen the ballad off the end of Voodoo Lounge. But yeah, I'm probably going to choose Might As Well Get Juiced. It's great. But of course, that ending of that album is absolutely great with it's almost like they're sandwiched together, those two beautiful Keith ballads. And then my next one here, then the next album, or the last two here, and Bigger Bang. Oh, I didn't maybe not, I don't know. I didn't almost include these two, because some of these albums, I don't really much care for or whatever. But I kind of like Look What the Cat Dragged In or whatever. Some of those, you know, but maybe that song, I guess. Then my last one, and then the last album that they did was Blue and Lonesome, and I'm probably going to choose the title track, which is Blue and Lonesome. You know, with the bluesy covers. That was, oh my God, that album I didn't almost probably put on here, you know. But anyways, that's it. Those are my favorite songs from each of the albums. And this is almost kind of like a prelude or interlude or whatever until I get to my ranking of the Stones albums. But yeah, folks, let me know what your favorites are from each of the albums, okay? Till then, folks, bye-bye.